welcome to Axel's Garage. Well, it's our third service coming up with the Maverick here, and we're bringing it in. We got about 25, let's check it, a little over 25,000 miles in just over a year of ownership. April, May, June. We're 14 months in, and we're just over 25,000 miles. All right, we're in here and we're at 25092.2. And like I said, we're on our third service. So our first service went about 10,000 miles. Our second service brought us to 16,000 miles, 6,000 miles, a shorter interval. We did a video on it, and we determined that the shorter interval was because of the cold weather, and we explained that in a previous video. We'll link the whole playlist in the description below on the Maverick here. So this one went from 16 to 25, 9,000 miles on this service interval, and the app is showing me it's time to schedule an oil change. So trying to get out of the glare here, you could see the oil life monitor, which is down to 16%. It's saying July 29th, and I got 900 miles to go. We made the appointment before we went on the last trip when we had about 2,000 miles to go, and we knew that our trip was going to take us about 1,200 miles, which it did. It was about a 1,200 mile trip. Excellent mileage. We had it in eco mode the whole trip, 1,200 miles from home down to the Outer Banks, or driving around the Outer Banks and back. We average 43.1 according to the vehicle's onboard mileage computer thingy, which we've determined by putting gas in the tank and measuring how much fuel we use based on how much we refill it, which isn't 100% accurate either because every pump, you know, shuts off at a different thing. But we've determined that the onboard computer wanted to maybe be 1 mile to 1.5 miles per gallon. So we are definitely over 40 on this last 1,200 mile trip. But anyway, 1,200 miles, when it said I had 2,000 to go, and it constantly readjusts because there's times when the engine's not running and you're driving, and then there's times when the engine is running. So when we got back home now, we had, instead of 800 left, we had 900 left. So it does constantly readjust. Anyway, we have a service appointment tomorrow, and Ford actually called me up. I guess because it was a length of time, I don't know whether they're looking for business or whatever it was, they happened to call me up about 2 weeks before I was about to go on vacation. And they said, hey, we think that you should be probably ready for another service. And she was right. It was time for another service. I knew it was coming. I knew we had the trip plan. So I said, well, we got a trip plan. We're going to do a couple thousand miles. And it looks like on the indicator, I'm a couple thousand miles away. So let's make it for the following week when we get back. So she said, okay. And she made the appointment. And when I checked the appointment online, it was for a, now this service appointment is just an oil change and tire rotation, which I'm supposed to get 4 of them. And when I got my second one, they said, oh, that's it, you're done with your free services. So I emailed the salesman. He said, no, that's not correct. I'll change it. You have 2 more left. You have 4 altogether. So that was all straightened out, but she didn't put me in for a regular service. She put me in for the 25,000 mile service. So I scour the webs, and I can't find what a 25,000 mile service is, other than some vlog post, which it seems that the 25,000 mile service is just all of the normal inspections and checks that they do on your normal 27-point inspection or whatever it is that you get with the oil change and tire rotation, which is what they call the works. Ford calls it the works. So it's oil change, tire rotation, and all the checks when they tell you stuff might need attention or should need attention or does need attention, yada, yada, yada. Now, there is no 25,000 mile service interval in the owner's manual for this Maverick Hybrid. It's a 23 Maverick Hybrid. So I looked up to 20, I looked up to 30, and it does mention between, I think at 30 or at 20 or whichever, it to inspect or possibly something with the cabin air filter. And I've had this with other dealerships, other brands, where once they hit a couple of oil changes, they tell you your cabin air filter needs attention, which who knows even if they actually check. So at 25,000 miles, I said, you know what, let's just change the cabin air filter and let's change the engine air filter. Those are the 2 things that on my daughter's Nissan, that when we go to the dealership, they always say needs attention, and they try to sell you a $200 cabin air filter, which even if you buy the greatest one at $30, and they try to sell you an engine air filter for $150, which even if you buy the best one you could find, they're $30. So that's what we're going to do today. So what I have here is a cabin air filter from Purolator. It's the advanced cabin air filter. It does have activated carbon in it. That is the only difference. I chose that one because they claim that the HEPA filters are just too restrictive and it affects your airflow and how much air is blowing out of your HVAC system. So I went with the activated carbon one. Just I felt like, all right, I felt like it would keep everything a little fresher. Maybe inside the car, we're in it a long time. We put a lot of miles on this thing. So I'm going to go with that one. For the engine air filter, important air filter, a premium brand or any real name brand would have been fine with me, but there was nothing really easily available. So I went with the Motorcraft. Again, the Motorcraft, it wasn't crazy expensive. It was maybe $20, somewhere in there. And I got an ant crawling around on it. But that's the Motorcraft. The Motorcraft part number. Some people said they had trouble finding the part number. I did not. But there's your part number on the Motorcraft. And for the Purolator, there's your part number on the cabin air filter. So I am going to grab a small flat blade screwdriver and a trim clip, pry tool, because to 100% transparency, never done it. Going to take you along, first time for me, and probably first time for you, and we'll see. I mean, how complicated could a cabin air filter and an engine air filter be? And I shouldn't say that because I know that some cabin air filters are really pains in the asses to get to, and that's why I call bullshit on a lot of these places that they check the cabin air filter and it needs attention, just like Emily's Nissan, which has it had 17,000 or 18,000 and change on it, and they tried to sell my wife a $200 cabin air filter because it needed attention. So we're going to get this changed, and we're going to see if Ford tells us it needs attention when it's got brand new filters, because it's 4 o'clock on July 4th, and it's going to the dealer at 7 o'clock in the morning on July 5th, and we'll see. All right, so under the hood here, it is pretty dusty. I've only been under the hood a couple of times to put wiper fluid in, but here's our air box. Here's a dead bee. Don't know much about the hybrids. However, I do know stay away from anything orange. This looks like it just clips right off with little clips. And then, am I gonna have to loosen this? Looks like I'm gonna have to loosen this. I'm trying not to disturb all the dust as much as I can. My reasoning for not disturbing the dust is I want to see if they'll just assume that it's never been changed. And try to sell me a filter. Alright, so here's the Ford Motor Company filter, the original one. Alright, this side is the side going in, so this should be the dirty side, and yeah, it's not completely. Let me hold it up to the light. I can see, I can see the sunlight through it, but definitely on the dirty side. If they said to me they recommend changing it soon, I couldn't argue with that. So I'm gonna grab the vacuum. I'm gonna vacuum out the leaf bits and stuff that are on the bottom side, and we'll put the new filter in. Grab my new filter, which is a Motorcraft. It's exactly the same as the old filter. the slots in the back, and then it's a nice tight fit. I'm gonna grab my 2 clips. And make sure that my air pipe is on nice and secure, and it is. I'm just going to tighten it back up. And it does not look like I messed up, got too many fingerprints on it, messed the dust up. I don't want them to know I changed it because I want to see what they have to say. Hopefully they'll be honest. I'm hoping they're honest, because I kind of have had, other than my initial consultation with the salesman, which I wasn't crazy about because it seemed like I knew more about the car than he did. Other than that, I have been pretty happy with the dealership so far. All right, now inside the car for the cabin air filter, here's our charcoal impregnated filter. Gives you an airflow direction arrow on it. I'm going to go in the glove compartment. Now they say to take everything out of the glove compartment, but I'm stubborn and I think I could do it without. So you'll see down here on the side is your hinge pivot, and it's got those 2 plastic tabs there. You see how it goes? So I think, do you pinch and pull? Is it a 2-handed thing? I think I'm going to have to get a little pair of pliers. I'm going to pinch and then slide it off with a little screwdriver. I think that's the best way to do it. All right, so I got a little pair of pliers. I'm going to slide my trim tool right behind it. I'm going to pinch just a little bit, and that's going to slide right off. All right, that was pretty easy. This is all plastic, so be careful with it. Now right here, you can see there's a little catch, and there's one on either side, and you push them in, the glove compartment comes down, and I believe it'll come all the way out if I get my leg out of the way. Oop, I pop these back in. So if I hold all our crap in here, slide it all the way down, it'll come right off the little tabs along the bottom here. All right, and now we got everything we need exposed. Let me move the camera and we'll see what we can show you there. All right, so now you have your, this looks like the blower motor right here, and this is the access panel for the cabin air filters. So you got to pick this clip up and this clip up. I guess. Oh. This looks like it wants to go down, almost like it pivots. Maybe you don't pick those clips up. Let's see there. Ah, here you go. You push this one out. I'm blocking the light here. So that one right there, this pushes in on it. So you push that side one out, and there's a side one over there, and then it hinges down. Aha! And there is the Ford one. It's got dust on the outside. It looks like it's probably pretty dirty. Airflow's pointing down the arrow. We're gonna pull it out. Oh, and that thing's dirty. Look at that side. All right, that's pretty dirty. So, gonna replace it. It's been 25,000 miles. There's no leaves or anything in there. It's all clean in there. If I did see anything, I'd probably vacuum it out, but doesn't appear to be anything in there. So I'm gonna grab my new filter, arrow pointed down, and I am gonna slide it right in just like the old one was. All right, this door goes right back up. That's that one. That's that one. And that's nice and shut. These tabs here, you don't have to mess with. The one that I was pulling on at the beginning. Right, it's just a hinge. It's in there. there's no clip on top. It just closes pretty tight against it. Yeah, the top clips, it's not grabbing anything up there. That's just a little pull. So these little tabs up here are just to pull it down. It's the side tabs that hold it in place. In there nice and good. All right, now we can put the glove box back. Here's the 3 little, whatever you want to call them, little rods, whatever. So I'll hold all my junk in so it doesn't fall out. I'll hook them on so they're all the way hooked on. And when you push this up, those little plastic tabs pop in automatically. I could put my wife's Advil back, close it. Good. Now all I got to do is come around on this side, grab that little hinge, and slide it over the thing. So here's the little hinge. It kind of fell back, so you got to close it. Can you grab it? I don't know. You got to pull it down. Okay, so you could pull it down. Once you get it there, slide it right over the thing. It snaps into place. Nicey nice. Well done. So, all in all, we're at 25,000 miles. And this thing, I mean, you can see the stuff that it caught. You know, it's funny, cabin air filters, people bitch about having the cabin air filters. Just another filter to change, but like, why did it take them a century or more to start putting these in every vehicle? You know, I have some of the Suburbans, the GMT 800s that I have, depending on what year, some of them had it, some of them didn't. Most of them didn't. But like, why wouldn't you filter the air that you're blowing into the cabin? I don't understand that. So this is the airflow is going this way, so this is the side that it's coming in on, so it's catching. It did catch a lot of leaf debris, some bugs in there, and then you look on this side and it's dirty, but I mean, it did its job as far as catching debris. But you know, that's got to be a restriction in airflow. It's pretty dirty. All right, that's the cabin air filter. So they might have recommended to get it, they might not have. We're gonna find out. If they recommend that I put one in, then we know they didn't check and they're just going off by mileage, which I would say 25,000 miles is more than time. Maybe this has got to be a 20,000 mile thing. Now the engine air filter on the intake side, this is the side that's where the air is going into the engine. The air is flowing this way. It's not too bad. A little dirty. This wasn't in there. That came up off of the bed cover there. But there is visible particulate in the filter. You could still see light through it, but it is getting there where it's going to need attention. All right, hopefully you can see that. You can see that there is visible particulate in the filter, but it did its job. It caught it. This side, like I said, not as dirty. Can this have gone to 30? Probably. Easy 30,000 on this. So if I had to make a recommendation based off of my real world experience, I would say the cabin air filter either once a year or 20,000 miles. We'll see this next year how many miles we put on it. Might not be as many miles. I mean, we went to see the kids a lot last year. Yeah, who knows? But probably a once a year thing. This thing, probably every 30,000 miles or so, or every 25,000 miles. Know me, I'll do it. But there's your easy filter change. If I wasn't filming and I was just doing it by myself, coming out here and banging them out, you're looking at, 10 minutes to change both filters. They weren't real expensive. I opted for the Purolator because I wanted the carbon to try to keep the air a little fresher. I know Fram does make a filter with baking soda, impregnated with baking soda to keep it fresh. It's called Fresh Breeze or something like that, but they didn't have one that I could find available for the Maverick. So I went with the Motorcraft. The only other one that I saw on the Amazons was a off-brand, and I just, it's the engine air filter. I'm not going to go with an off-brand. I'll just go with a regular name brand. The Purolator is fine for an air filter, I think. No reason to spend crazy money on one. For the engine filter. So we went with the Motorcraft. It was reasonably priced on Amazon. I'll link it below. And the Purolator, again, reasonably priced. And I'll put some links in the description for all the different filters. And you decide which one you want to buy. But glad I did it. Now, tomorrow, we'll see what the dealer says when I bring it in, and I'll wait till then to end the video, and I'll let you know how I made out with service for my 25,000 mile, my third oil change and tire rotation. We'll let you know what they say. We'll see. So we got the Maverick back from service. They did the oil change and the tire rotation. That was my third free service. They didn't try to sell me a cabin air filter or an engine air filter, which I'm glad, because they didn't try to scam me out of something that I didn't need. But then again, did they check? Who knows? But as of right now, I'm still a happy customer. And as always, thanks for watching.